gives you all of the nutrients that you need. And of course, if you make yourself a homemade guacamole or salsa, then you're getting a bit of fiber as well. Thank you very much.
And what? And when does your cookbook come out? Awesome. Well, I'm Adam, and this is about you guys and your journey in music and your new EP that's coming out as well. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Thank you. So first off, I always go with where were you born and raised? We can start with you, Jim. Where were you born and raised?
So I was born in London, United Kingdom, and I was raised there as well. And I haven't moved an awful lot since. I'm not going to lie.
Really? Are you still there?
Yeah. Still in London.
I guess it's hard to leave there from what I hear. I've never been, but a lot of musicians that I've chatted with that live around like in UK, other parts will go there because that's kind of like the place to be.
Exactly. I guess it's kind of like the LA or like
New York,
Seattle, right? Or whatever. Yeah, exactly. That
exactly.
Kind of thing.
If you're already living there, it's like why leave?
But no, exactly. And it's kind of, I know a lot of people find it very intense in London, but I just kind of maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Right. Well, tell me about growing up there. What was that like? Or were you in the city itself?
Yeah. Grew up central London pretty much. And
wow.
it was pretty good. I mean, for a long time, I thought that the name of my house was London until I was 18 years old. No, until I was about 6 years old. I was convinced that I just didn't really have a concept of anything. And this was back in the time that John Major was Prime Minister. And naturally, I thought that he was Prime Minister of the world.
Oh, of course.
So yeah, I guess I've learned a little bit more about geography since, not an awful lot more. But but I'm still here.
That's good. That's cool. That is cool. Yeah, I'm from San Diego in California, and cool. I recently moved to Nashville, Tennessee, but it's a similar thing where it's like, well, I'm already here. Like, where else am I going to go? LA was a short drive or a couple hour drive and everything else. But well, tell me about what about you, Orlando? Are you originally from London as well, or?
I'm not. I'm Italian. I'm from Italy.
Oh, from Italy. Yeah, you cut out there for a half a second, but from Italy. Are you in Italy still?
Sorry?
Are you still living there, or did you move to London? I guess
I moved to London a few years ago, and then disgracefully I met Jim, and that's how it all started.
Okay, well, what was it like growing up in Italy? Tell me about village.
That. Well, basically my hometown, my house is basically in front of this medieval castle, so I thought it was normal to grow up in that sort of like environment, but it wasn't, especially when you move to London, when you have to face with a
medieval castle. Was it occupied, and what was it like to live across the street from it or across from it?
It wasn't occupied. It used to be I think it's still haunted. It's full of there is a cemetery as well in it, and it used to be a boarding school. So
that's creepy.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. And I think my dad even slept where the dead people were, because he was staying there. So I know this. I don't know if it's true, but
there's a word for that.
Huh?
There's a word for that.
So wait. Was that? Did your dad grow up in the same town that you grew up in, village?
It's a different town, but he was on boarding school in the castle.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know this is great.
It's weird. Like that castle used to be many things, from a monastery to the family, the main powerful family used to live. It's complicated, but I just lived there. I thought it was normal to live in front of a castle, and then you moved to London, and it's different.
I thought you were gonna say like your dad grew up in the village and was in as kids, that was like a rite of passage. Like, okay, who's gonna sleep inside the medieval castle that's haunted?
Who's gonna lay with the dead people?
We still do that. To be fair, we still say, "Oh, should we go there at night?" Because we know everyone in this. It's a small village, so it's like, why don't you get the keys from someone? Just go there, have a wander, try to switch on the light so I can see it. So there is this thing going on that I still need to do. I would like to do it, but yeah.
So you've been in there, sounds like.
Oh yeah, all the time. Like it's one of those things. Like as soon as I get back, I need to go and have a wander there, say hi to the skeletons. Like there are some like dead people there. Like you can see the skeletons and everything, but they're not.
Oh my
buried.
gosh! Have you been there, Jim? Have you been to
No,
Orlando sometime?
No, I haven't. I'm not sure if I want to anymore. I mean,
You guys should do like a live stream from there or something.
Yeah, like most ghost hunters. It's like, yeah, this is pretty standard stuff. Here's an outsider. What the is going on?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh wow. Okay. That's really fascinating. Well, okay. Well, tell me, Orlando, how did you get into music? So you're living across from this crazy medieval castle. How do you get into music?
Yeah. Well, we got bored. Like we got really bored because like it's not like living in London where everything is here. You can go out and and see people playing all kind of music. We were just bored with my friends, so we started this little band, and we didn't know how to play. So we kind of just started that way. And
what did you play? Like, what was the first instrument you played?
I mean, when I started, it was like drums, but I was terrible at it. So I started playing guitar. But it was always like guitar, like mainly, yeah.
Okay, guitar. How old were you when you started guitar?
I was 11, something like that, 11, and everyone was like older than me, so I was like, little kid. But,
okay, and you guys had a band, though?
Yeah, we had this band before we could actually be able to play. Like I didn't know how to play any chords. I just got this guitar from someone, and yeah, that was it.
Wow. What about you, Jim? How did you get into music? I mean, obviously you're probably surrounded in London by music.
Yeah. Basically, when I was a kid, I used to write a lot of poetry. I was a bit of an introspective kid. Just kind of like, what is life? What is the point of life? I'm 8 years old. And basically, I always loved music. And, one of my first albums was this Blues Brother Soul Sister compilation thing. It had like John Lee Hooker and Muddy Waters and like all of the greats. And I loved all of that. Loved Otis Redding and everything. And I loved the Beatles, and that was basically whatever my parents played in the car was the kind of stuff that really kind of sunk in. And I naturally loved harmonizing. I taught myself the drums when I was 10, started off on pots and pans and stuff. And then I kind of thought, this is good, but I kind of want to, express a little more. No shade to any drummers out there. But I just, I ended up getting a guitar when I think I was 13, and I just kind of taught myself over the summer, learned a couple of songs. I think Nights in White Satin was one of them by the Moody Blues. And I just decided that, I can do poetry. I can strum a chord really badly. Let's see where this goes, I guess. And then, the songwriting came, and that's kind of, I think before anything else, even before being like a singer or a guitarist, I think I'm a songwriter first and foremost.
And with that, did you start a band also, or did you?
Oh yeah. Oh,
okay.
There was some, very interesting bands. I mean, I did a lot of the acoustic thing. Like, the rites of passage. The
just
capo,
like you.
Just me. Yeah. The capo on fret 72.
Oh sure. Okay.
And the kind of you can tell me, Orlando, what's it called when you do that shape with your hands, like the Wonderwall thing, so that these two never change?
Oh, like
we'll come back to him.
Yeah, like a G chord, and then you kind of you just
add that extra thingy. I think it's called the thingamajig.
The thing. Okay.
Basically,
I think that's a technical term.
That is the technical term, and it's the who's my what's it. And basically, I wrote a lot of just awful songs, really bad. And eventually one of them was okay, where I didn't rhyme train with pain or rain.
Okay.
And then I set up a band called 7 Shades of Grey, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's before its time. Before what's the movie?
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey.
And
Okay.
it was a very different thing. We were all at, early teens. There was no bondage at that time.
Okay. Well, there was. You guys just weren't aware of it.
Yeah, no, probably. Do you know what? I think it was more of a mental bondage in the fact that none of us really wanted to be there.
Okay.
Then I eventually made another band called Higher Control, which was equally disorganized. And I kind of went through a few things. Did another band called Crystal Seagulls. We actually went somewhere during the kind of indie time, when everyone was just kind of doing what the Kooks were doing. So we kind of did that.
And when you say went somewhere, did you guys like get a deal, or were you touring? Or
so we did do a tour. We did a tour with Rival Sons.
Oh, really?
And,
okay.
Yeah. And we kind of played Reading and Leeds and all of the big kind of festivals.
Wow. So yeah, you guys did something. That's cool.
Yeah, we actually did, but we were literally Spinal Tap. So every opportunity that came our way, we were just like, this is a really good opportunity. How can we self-sabotage without really realizing it? And then eventually, after learning all of those lessons, I set up a band called Duke of Wolves. Orlando was the lead guitarist. He joined that band. At first, he didn't want to join. And then, we just kind of went on, and professionalism ensued. And since then, we became Electric Enemy when we got signed up and got a management contract. And it's been pretty cool ever since, really.
Sure. So, okay, Orlando, back to you then. You moved to London and eventually meet Jim, and you joined the band that he was just talking about. But prior to that, like, what took you to London?
I just decided to just leave everything I was doing. I studied law before doing this.
Really?
Yeah, so I finished my degree and I thought, fuck it, let's ruin my life joining a band.
Wait a minute. Did you you got a degree and you have your law degree, and you got it while you're in Italy still, and then
in Italy. Yeah. I studied in a city called Perugia. It's famous for the murder. The Amanda Knox case.
Ah, I do. Okay.
I don't know if you. Yeah, so that place is famous for that, and I was studying there, and I decided to I finished it, and then I was like, you know what, I just want to play guitar, so I moved to London, and I started like playing with different people. I even went on a ferry, like I used to play guitar on a ferry with a band.
Really?
And when I came back from that, yeah. And then when
would you guys like do cover songs
when I came
or something?
Yeah, like all the it was mainly like Motown, but anyway, like after that I met Jim around, I think it was like that summer when I came back, and I thought it was just an alcoholic, but no, I'm just kidding. It's because in England, when you meet up with someone, it's always like going for a drink.
Right.
That's true.
So it was like our first meetings, like they were mainly like they were a bit boozy. I remember that. I don't remember, but I do remember. I recall, but I don't remember.
You recall showing up, but you don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. What happened after that, but no, that I remember. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Okay. Wait. So, well, then how did you meet? How did you then meet Jim? Did you enter an ad for Guitar Player or something? Like, how did you
it was
his band?
Yeah, it was an advert, and I was a bit disappointed that there weren't many people like auditioning, and I thought, this is not right. So I didn't know. I wasn't sure about joining the band because it seems to me too easy. When you do something and you think, is that it? It's like but yeah, no, it was a different band back then. I think
Uh-huh.
it was just me and Jim, like the original. I mean, what it remained from
You know what, mate?
that.
I'm not sure
So,
anymore.
so yeah, it was like different people.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, real quick onto your and just because I'm curious, yeah, because the Amanda Knox thing was huge here, obviously, because she was from like Seattle area or something. What a bizarre thing! Like, do you remember? Like, were you there when all that was happening? Like, do you? And
Yeah,
I'm just I
yeah.
know this is totally not on the topic, but I'm just fascinated because I've seen all the documentaries on it. And I remember
Yeah, I've
when it was
seen them,
happening.
yeah.
Everybody was like, "Oh my
So
gosh, she got framed," and all, but then you start hearing all this stuff, and you're like, "Well,"
yeah,
you're like, "I don't know.
yeah.
There's too much stuff that she smoked some
I
weed and
mean-
like forgot everything in her the whole day. It's like,
Yeah, because you know when that
kind of
happens,
lightweight
right?
are you? Yeah, the whole
I
thing got
mean,
so
there is a
weird.
lot. Yeah, but I remember the morning when it happened because I had a lesson, you know, at uni, and I remember the speech the professor made, which was you know, like one of those things. They love to do those kind of just theatrical lessons, you know, especially in
Mhm.
Italy, you know. But I remember I used to have a car there. It was a shitty car, but I used to park where the house, you know, where you know at the famous Amanda Knox house, because no one will park there. And there
So
is
you knew you
also
were
a
gonna have a
legend
spot.
about yeah, because Perugia is a very dark city because it's like it's famous for drugs, it's
Oh, okay.
famous for gangs, you know, and stuff like that as well
Have you
as
seen that
good
film, Gangs of
things.
Perugia? It's with
I
Daniel
haven't.
Day
Gangs of
Lewis. Yeah,
Perugia.
no, it's,
Oh yeah, and
Is it? It's really a film? I
no,
didn't
no,
know
no.
that.
Sorry, no, no.
Oh.
It's like Gangs of New
I was
York.
like, what? I was gonna say, I'm like,
yeah,
what?
What?
yeah. Al
You had me.
Pacino
You
plays
had me on that
Amanda
one, Jim.
Knox's father.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she's
Um,
out now. Apparently, she's just living the best life in Seattle.
was yeah.
Um,
I think the other guy, the Italian guy, I think he was on Tinder, and someone like, took a screenshot of the description. It was hilarious. Like, you know, like, oh, I'm a very, you know, I don't do drugs. I'm a very serious person. I don't party. I just, and everyone was like,
Swipe right.
oh, man. Yeah,
he's like, I've been.
I would now.
Did he serve? He served jail time too, right? They both did.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There
Oh,
is a lot
man.
of politics involved in that case.
I remember.
I don't think we want to go that route.
No,
but,
no. But
you know,
I'm just.
there is a lot of you know, there is, you know, Italian Freemasonry involved. There is Hillary Clinton involved in this as well. It's weird.
I didn't know it got
We
that
don't
far.
wanna
I knew
talk
that
about
they,
it.
right, because who was the one guy that was showed on TV from, you would know, I don't remember, but he was like really for like, you know, getting her, like he was like a stickler for like she's never getting out.
Wasn't it
The
the
only-
detective guy, the one who was a
Yeah.
bit of a showman for the cameras and that?
Yes, I forgot his
Yeah.
name though. But yeah, he
Yeah, I
was
don't
in
remember.
The detective.
yeah. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
fat.
Mr.
I mean,
Detective.
yeah, not to stay on that topic, but yeah, that's wild. Like, so I didn't realize that was that. Like, so the town wasn't all the nicest place to be hanging out then, I guess, for the time period.
I mean, it's famous for like foreign cultures. So if you go there, there is a lot of it's a melting pot of different cultures. But at the same time, there is a lot. I mean, it used to be like that. There used to be drugs and you know, I remember gangs. Pretty neat, but yeah.
yeah. Okay, sorry. So you went to you were going to school there. You used to park in their driveway.
Yeah.
And you ended up getting out. You ended up getting out to London, and you ended up meeting Jim.
Yeah.
And then you guys had another band. And then when that band kind of dissolves, then what's next, Jim? Do you guys decide together, like, hey, let's start another project?
So actually, it was more a development of the band. I think that what we'd done is we'd kind of accumulated over the years a whole bunch of insight into what you should and shouldn't be doing.
Mhm.
And we just decided, because I think that a lot of people at an early stage could be very attached to their name. But rather than be attached to our name and at the time our 100 followers or whatever it was, we just kind of thought, we know what we're doing now. Let's start this fresh and let's do this right. So that's essentially what happened. So we didn't actually change members at the time or anything like that. So it was at that point, it was myself, Orlando, Tom on drums, and Saz on bass, who's no longer in the band.
Mhm.
But yeah, now we've got someone called Ewan, who's a good lad.
Someone called Ewan. How rude. Just like, we got someone just called Ewan. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Well, he's got to be called something.
He's probably been called worse.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Okay, so the band, so now, okay, then it's name change, Electric Academy, and you said you guys ended up getting what, management and everything. Like, what was kind of the first, step in the, the first, I guess, success you had with the band?
So I think that once we'd kind of got together with them, we ended up kind of due to a lot of the groundwork which we'd already laid and some of the people we kept on and the new management, we played the main stage at the Isle of Wight Festival.
Wow.
Which was really cool. So we opened it up and, we've got like a joke inside the band that we were playing on, I think it was the Sunday morning, and Noel Gallagher headlined on the Saturday night. So basically, Noel Gallagher supported us.
That's amazing.
So so that was pretty cool.
That's
actually,
huge.
that whole
That's
day
such
was
a
amazing.
massive. That's a huge festival. I mean, to
It
be on the
really
main
is.
stage too. Now, I would imagine it's multiple stages, right? Obviously,
There's quite a few. So there's the main stage, the big top, which is the kind of one down, but which is still, you get a lot of amazing bands playing in there. But then after that, there are all sorts of other stages like dance tents and stuff. But it's mainly, I'd say, main stage, big top is where the bigger acts would play.
And then to be able to open on that, I mean, to be able to just be on that stage, that's so cool.
It was pretty cool. And I think that I'm very grateful for the fact that we've all, in our own ways, been doing this for a long time, because I think that had we not, it would be a very overwhelming experience. But the fact that, we've got our socks, we've done the work.
Right.
It was just great. And I think that we really enjoyed every minute of it, and kind of we knew to look up and actually take in the moment that was happening, which is such a hard thing to do, to actually just be aware of the present situation that you're in and say, this is really cool. And then we also had an amazing backstage, and being the cool people that we are, brought a backpack and put everything inside the backpack that we could carry.
All of it.
Yeah, literally everything. And
like,
I met
give me some examples of things that you were able to take from the back and put them in the backpack.
Well, there was an assortment of teas, which I was quite pleased with, herbal teas. There was a lot of beer and cider and stuff like that, because we decided essentially every time that we hit like a new milestone of some description, we like to kind of have a bit of a party and enjoy ourselves and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, this is good. Now I can ask. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's good. No, and basically, it's kind of like, if we do the main stage again, we probably won't do the big celebration that we did that night,
because it already had happened.
Yeah.
But what if you're a higher up slot on the main stage? What if you're fifth to go on?
Ooh.
Would that be a party?
That would be a party.
Of course.
That would be great. Yeah.
Do you do you remember getting the poster like with your name on it? Like,
yes.
I know here like Coachella is like the thing, right? And like the Coachella lineup comes out and there's like the minuscule little font and it kind of goes up and And like just seeing, I've talked to a lot of artists that were like, just seeing our name on that poster, like blown away. Like I'm sure that had to be a big deal.
It really was amazing, wasn't it, Orlando? And it's just like I bought a t-shirt. I literally bought a t-shirt because I just thought this is really cool, and I don't want to ever forget this.
And I recently saw someone wearing that t-shirt, like the one with our name on. I remember I sent everyone like a picture of this guy just sitting in a bar, and he had like
poke them in the back.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, that's me.
Did you go up to him and be like, do you know who I am?
Me neither.
You know what? I might actually do. I actually do that. That's the point. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Why not?
He's like, no, who are you? You're like, well, you're wearing my t-shirt.
I mean, the name is so small, but still,
it's there.
It's still
our name
there.
wasn't small on that one. Our name wasn't small on that one.
Oh no, it was on the main. Yeah, so it wasn't.
Yeah, if it's on the main stage, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it was on the main stage. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, when was the next party? Like, what happened? Like, obviously that was a big party. You said you party
tomorrow night.
Milestone. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, in the what milestone party was the next?
Yeah,
milestone?
no.
Well, I just recovered from COVID. I think I deserve some party.
Oh, you had COVID? I'm so sorry. Are you all right?
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
As he coughs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, I'm glad you're okay, man. Yeah.
No, he's all right.
Yeah.
We actually had to do a gig in Sheffield last week. We were supporting Bang Bang Romeo, and we had to do the gig without Orlando. And being that he's the lead guitarist, my fingers were twice as tired.
Oh my
after
gosh.
the concert.
Yeah.
So we definitely missed him. Mainly on stage, not so much off.
Bastards.
Well, I'm glad you're recovering, man. That's awful. My son had it to where we've all had it through our house, but like he had it where he lost his taste, and like he still can't eat like certain foods he doesn't like. That I think Oreos were one. Like he doesn't like Oreos anymore because it just destroyed the taste of Oreos for him.
Well,
so,
do you know what? The good news with that is that Mondelez, who make Oreos, treat their workers terribly. So,
is that right? Oh, that's good to know.
Good man.
Well, I knew he liked Oreos before, and then and we thought it was weird because it took months or almost a month and a half for it to actually come back to where you could taste food, and then it just like certain things just never came back. So,
oh, poor guy. How old is he?
He's 13.
13.
So,
that sucks.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that awful? But he's the only person I met that had it that actually like lost their taste. Like I remember that was a big thing, but when our family had it, nobody else did. So, but I'm glad you're better. That's too bad.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been replaced by tapes. For sure.
Well, okay. Well, you get the party for not having COVID anymore. But what was the like band milestone next party after the main stage?
So I think the funny thing is that we did the Isle of Wight thing in 2019, and we'd kind of got some stuff together, and it was all going great. And then COVID happened, basically.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So there were so many milestones during COVID. So, for example, our first song to get onto Spotify playlists, and not just kind of get onto them, but it's still on some Spotify playlists. And we released that literally, I think it was, don't quote me on it, but the 27th of March, 2020.
Wow.
You remember the date. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's like weeks
yeah.
after. Well, I mean, I know in Europe it was a bit different, but here in the States, like they shut everything down like March. I think it was March 13th was like everything went under.
Pretty much
it was
the
like,
same here. Yeah.
It was like NBA canceled. Tom Hanks has it. This is a big deal.
Yeah. As soon as Tom Hanks has it.
Yeah, then it was serious. I mean, that's then everything shut down. But I know, like looking at Italy and everything, I mean, that was scary. And it got really bad in New York. But I mean, I don't know when you guys officially closed everything down. Was it around the same time?
It was pretty much around this. In the UK, they started. I mean, we could go into the ins and outs of how awfully mismanaged the whole thing has been in every different country, but essentially.
Sure,
they
I just
started
didn't know
saying-
if it was sooner or later as far as that went.
It was around, I'd say around the same time they started to
Okay.
fizzle things out, basically. And
Gotcha.
but we released Heartache Melody, and it just took us all by surprise, basically, because it just took off. And we were all thinking, this is cool. And then the next week there'd be another playlist. It was, this is cool. You know, going from, I don't know, like 500 monthly listeners on Spotify to, I think with Heartache Melody, we got up to like 25,000 or something like that. We were really pleased.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, was it, once they hit the playlist, was it like significantly getting more plays? Like, do you remember seeing it, like, you know, the first few days in, maybe it didn't do what you thought, and then it just goes and it just spiked?
It was, do you know what? It was pretty instant. It was,
wow.
you know, just because we tend to release our music on Friday, because New Music Friday,
yeah.
You always want to be in the running for all of that. And basically, we released it. It got into a whole bunch of different Spotify playlists. We just saw the 1,000 happening in a day, which at the time, you know,
That's
that
huge.
usually took us a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, that was awesome. And then on top of that, having the song played on BBC Radio 1, which is like the channel.
Mecca.
Exactly, and it was being played by Jack Saunders. And yeah, I mean, that was just really cool to kind of have all of these things happening. We were just kind of sending champagne emojis to each other.
How do you
that was about it. Yeah.
I mean, to get your song played on BBC One, that's like the biggest accomplishment, I would think, right? As far as radio goes in the UK. And when, like, how do you, like, do you get a call saying like, yo, like, this is a rad record, we're going to put it on, or like, what is that? How does that work?
So for the most part, what happens is there's something called the BBC Uploader in the UK where you can put your music on, and BBC are pretty great in the sense that they'll always listen to it, and they'll send you a notification saying this track has been listened to. And if that's the only notification you get, you just kind of say, oh, we should try harder next time. Well,
I mean, here in I come from radio. I did radio for 15 years in the United States. And I mean, you know how many, like, it's terrible to say, but if you're on the air, you had a mailbox. I mean, when I first started, you get mailed the like demos by a lot of people that just mail you these CDs. And I mean, 9 out of 10 times, nobody put them in there, nobody was listening.
Of course,
unless you got like 4 different phone calls saying like, oh, hey, like we mailed you blah, blah. And it would always have to come from another third party. It wasn't like the not a whole lot of bands would submit music that actually got listened to and got played for the most part. And the fact that they will come back and say, hey, we listened to this, like, sorry, it's not going to get picked up, but somebody heard it. I mean, that's enough, instead of just throwing it into the abyss and, maybe it landed in somebody's inbox, maybe it landed in somebody's mailbox, maybe
of course,
intern like threw it in the trash or whatever.
Like, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, I remember the days of needing to make sure that your CD was great, and you need to make sure the contact information is on the CD as well as the CD case, and all of that kind of business. But I think that what the BBC website has is you're able to kind of submit it by genre and different stuff. So I think that it kind of gets set up and categorized in such a way where they're able to kind of deal with the deluge of people who send their stuff in. And because there are so many different BBC programs, if you succeed in one, you might get bumped up to the next, or so on and so forth. So I mean, so that was really cool when that happened.
Did you guys go right to one? Or was it like, did you have to sift through the hierarchy of like,
we went right to Radio 1.
Wow.
Which was really cool. And
that's amazing.
And it was great to kind of listen to that and then walk outside in the middle of the street and just kind of not see any cars, because obviously everyone was quiet. How great was that, by the way? I mean, obviously, look, it was a terrible time in terms of everything wrong, but not hearing planes, not hearing that many cars, that was pretty great. The air in London was actually as close to fresh as it probably ever has been.
Well, they did show footage. And this is footage that they showed here in the States of Italy, and like dolphins like diving in these canals. Like you guys hadn't had dolphins in like forever or something like that, and they're like all migrated there because no one's around. Yeah, there's like nobody around. I thought that was wild.
That was great time, lockdown. I mean, I mean, the first 2 months were fantastic. It was just like a break from
life,
everything. Yeah, it's just like But then after those 2 months, I think I kind of sucked. But
we were in quite a lucky position in the sense that we had a whole bunch of songs already recorded going into lockdown. So what we saw is, Heartache Melody did something. So we went, right, we need to release something else as soon as possible. And our management team were great at kind of just getting all of that together. So we just kept on releasing. And I don't know exactly how many songs we actually released over this entire period.
Oh, yeah.
It's a few. Like it's a fair few. And just kind of seeing the Spotify go from strength to strength, which is all you could really hope for in lockdown, was just, I mean, that was really great for us, just to kind of be able to see all of that. And I think it's in terms of all of these kind of milestones that you achieve, like I think it would be very rare to find any musician who hasn't ever felt this way. You always kind of think, right, I'm going to play that gig, and then there's going to be the A&R person there, and then that's it.
Right.
Success. I will have a mansion. It's going to be great.
And then, the $1 million check and everything else.
Exactly. I think the way how I like to say it is just you go through a number of corridors. So basically the first corridor that you go through, you see a door at the end. It's pretty dingy. It's not a very nice corridor. You get through the door, you think this is it. But then what you have is another corridor, mildly better. And then you keep on going through and through and through. And I like to think that where we are now, there's nice wallpaper. There are no moths in the carpet. But, there are still some more corridors to go. And I kind of think that in the past, whereas I think as a band, we probably wanted everything immediately. I personally am really enjoying the journey as it goes along in terms of just like, this is great. We've got into this new bit and we can see things happening. And there's just a lot more clarity and presence of mind in terms of where to go. Yeah.
Well, you have I mean, you talked about Heartache Melody, but Voices, at least on your Spotify, has even more plays. Was that like like when you saw that happen, was that another situation where it landed on a Spotify playlist and you're like, oh my gosh, like we did it again?
And that's the thing. Yeah. Basically, I think that one got onto Orlando. Was it Walk Like a Badass? I think the Spotify playlist.
Yeah. That was the one playlist. Yeah.
Because a lot of the time what can happen on Spotify is that, you have your release day, some playlists pick it up, which is amazing. And that's still, that novelty still hasn't worn off for us.
Right.
You kind of get on the playlist, and then if it's the kind of playlist which updates every week, you have this sinking feeling, and a very literal numerical sinking feeling. But the fact is that a lot of the playlists that we've got onto, we've somehow stayed on, which is amazing. So Heartache Melody is on the Dirty Rock playlist and has been for a long time since it came out. And Walk Like a Badass Voices, I think that we released that, I want to say end of January last year. And that one, it's lapped Heartache Melody. So
it's amazing. That's incredible, especially thinking like, oh, you're like, okay, we put this song out, it does awesome, that's great, but then it's like, are we going to be able to follow this up? I know a lot of artists have that kind of doubt, and then you do, obviously, right? And then Voices comes out, it's like it even goes bigger. So that's incredible.
I think it is really a great feeling just to kind of have it sounds obvious, I guess, but it's really, on a basic level, it's really nice that people like our music. Do you know what I mean? It's such it's such a simple thing to say, but the fact that so many people have added it to their personal playlists, and there used to be a time when we would look at on Spotify for artists, it shows you how many people are listening live, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So way back when, we used to kind of look at that. Most of the time it said 0. And if there was ever one, we would screenshot it as quickly as possible just to make sure. And we'd send it to each other and say, caught a live one. You know, so
that's cool though, right? I mean,
yeah. And
still,
the fact that it's, you know, it's considerably more than that now. It's just nice to know that whatever we're putting out there, because I think on a lyrical standpoint, a lot of the songs kind of, you know, address mental health and kind of just general life stuff. It's not all about let's get in a Cadillac and, you know, put on some shades and drive as fast as we can. It's more like it's more like I've had a really bad day / life, and that's hard. Do you think it's hard? And then people go, yeah, I think that's pretty hard.
Well, to that note, I mean, your new record that's coming out is called The Therapy. It's about therapy, correct? And but it's got like kind of a humorous undertone to it. Is that what I was reading about it?
In a way, yeah. So basically, we had Therapy 1, which starts off, which was just called Therapy. I mean, we're not in the Steven Seagal style franchises of like Under Siege. Therapy Reloaded. Therapy,
but it's the therapy sessions.
The therapy sessions, exactly. That's the name of the EP.
Yeah.
And as you'll see, the title of my new book, basically, the therapy sessions is an EP, which is like it's accumulation of songs which we've released with Circular Wave, our amazing partners in Germany, and I think it starts with "Save Me, I'm Not Crazy." So this isn't like a track listing, but these are the songs that we've released. And it goes all the way through to this new single, which is going to be on there, called Therapy 2. And the thing with it being kind of humorous is more from the perspective. I think that if one person were to listen to it from just a normal headed standpoint, they wouldn't listen to it and go, ah. I think that if you've been in the dark depths of depression, there's a kind of humor that comes with the just futility of life. Do you know what I mean? There's this kind of whole thing of just like, that's actually kind of funny. Just like, let's talk about hating people, but ultimately not liking ourselves. It's kind of like that. There is a certain humor to that, not to mention the fact that we've got this therapist who I'm the voice of the therapist, and it's just this person who just goes, well, hey there, little Jimmy, welcome to therapy. You know, and at the end he says, oh, so long, you little psycho, stuff like that, which obviously a therapist would never say.
Right, of course.
It's part of the kind of paranoid stage that you can be in when you're really in the dark depths of psychosis, depression, you name it. Just that kind of thing of the things which shouldn't be funny are really funny. Right. It's like you're drawing attention to something that's a very serious matter, but you can kind of poke fun at yourself or poke fun at the situation because it's coming from an honest, place. Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely wouldn't say it was like comedic, but it's kind of like a nudge and a wink. If you know. That's well. Yeah, so in the full EP is coming. Is there only one song left that you haven't released then? Is that going to be Therapy 2? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. And you
sorry, say again?
No, go ahead, Orlando. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, I feel like we need to ask Jim how he came up with the main riff for Therapy 2. Could you please ask him that?
How did you come up with the main riff for Therapy 2 there, Jim?
Well, hey, I'm really glad you asked me. Right, well, whenever you're cooking and I don't know if you're a wooden spoon kind of guy.
What were you cooking?
Do you know what? I can't remember, but I reckon because of the frequency of I'd probably say vegan quesadillas.
Vegan quesadillas. What do you put in a vegan quesadilla?
What I do
there obviously isn't cheese in the vegan quesadilla.
So there's vegan cheese.
Vegan cheese. Okay.
But basically, I make a mix first, Actually, yeah,
Okay.
tell you what. So
You're like, I'm not going to give you the recipe.
let's go where every good story begins, from the beginning. So basically, plenty of garlic, red onion, cumin, chipotle paste. Then I get some tomatoes, diced mushrooms, spinach, refried beans, black beans, kidney beans. Mix all of that up together, get some more chipotle paste and cumin in there, paprika, obviously, or paprika, as some people call it.
I call it paprika. We're on the same page.
So do I. Yeah, thank you very much. And then basically you layer it up on a quesadilla with in a frying pan, and you make sure there's some cheese in there. Oh, of course, you add some rice to the mix as well, just to fill it up a bit.
Yeah.
But as a vegan, I can say that it gives you all of the nutrients that you need. And of course, if you make yourself a homemade guacamole or salsa, then you're getting a bit of fiber as well. Thank you very much.
And what? And when does your cookbook come out?
It comes out on the 37th of February.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah. So you're making a quesadilla.
Sorry, yes.
You're making a quesadilla.
Making a quesadilla mix, and I come up with the riff idea because when you use a wooden spoon, sometimes you get some of the stuff still on the spoon when you take it out. Mm-hmm. So what I always tend to do is I do something. So if you can't hear this, I'll try and do it in claps instead. But I get the spoon and I go like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear that on there?
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly like like that.
Okay.
And I just kind of, I've always done that, but for whatever reason on that particular day, I went, oh, that's a good idea. And it just turned into this riff, which starts with da-na-na-na, bam, 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 da-na-na-na, bam, 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 bam. So yeah. And now every time I do it, I get into a bit of a, I don't know, an OCD head thing, just like, do I need to finish the song or the food?
That's amazing. That is
every time we play that song, I could see Jim that he's still thinking about that quesadilla.
Right.
You can see in his eyes. It's just like. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, you guys didn't put out the Sweet Tooth EP too long ago either, right? That kind of came out fairly recently.
So basically, so what we like to do is we try. So we consider all the songs that we've released so far to be singles, but what we do is we involve them in, I guess you could describe it as an unwitting EP, in the sense that the EP doesn't even know it's an EP, but it's more of a way of just kind of, hey, listen to this song and oh my god, look at all of its friends. Hey guys, come on in. You know, so
it's smart though. It's smart, right? I mean, especially in the world of Spotify. Why are you gonna be like, and here's a whole record that you're only probably gonna pay attention to 2 songs on, or don't give each song their opportunity to shine.
It's kind of like a master chef thing, where you kind of focus on the main dish and you kind of tell people how to prepare it, but you don't want to waste anyone's time. So you say, here's something I made earlier. And basically, there you go. And you know what? It's actually worked. Even when, I think it was when we released Therapy, the prequel to Therapy 2, starring Dolph Lundgren and but Save Me, I'm Not Crazy actually got added to another Spotify playlist. I think it was the Transistor Spotify. Is that the one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know why I remember these things.
Because it's rad. Because it's a cool thing to do. It tortures
me at night. It's great. But so basically, Sweet Tooth came out, and that we were really pleased with the reception on that, especially. Weirdly, in terms of syncs, which for people who don't know what a sync is, it's whenever music gets matched to, an advert or something in a movie,
television
or whatever.
show, movie, right? Exactly.
And it was used for so many different football things. It
Really?
was really weird.
Oh,
like
yeah,
English
it was,
football,
yeah.
so soccer.
Right. Are you guys fans? Big football fans or no?
For the purpose of this interview, absolutely.
But in all reality,
yeah. Absolutely. Back of the net.
Yeah.
back of the net.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so it was great. It was great to kind of see that, because I think that we knew that when we were doing it, we just kind of thought this feels like the kind of, like the goal highlight reel kind of thing. And, it's kind of like, it was either going to be that or just like a super radical golf tutorial. So we're glad it was football, I guess. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You remember seeing it on TV the first time?
Yeah. So it was actually, so there's the, I'm going to try and get this right. The SPFU, which is the Scottish Professional Football, not union, I think league, SPFL.
Wow, that is right. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
It was great. It was basically just like a goal thing, and that was great. And I think basically the reason why we released Sweet Tooth in January is because we were very aware of the fact that all of our songs are a little bit dark and a little bit mental health. So we just kind of thought, rather than make the January blues worse for absolutely everyone, maybe we would release something that was a bit more fun.
Okay.
And yeah, luckily, yeah, many survivors of that release. So that's good.
That is good.
So it's all you really want, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations. I mean, that's so,
thank you.
Yeah, that's incredible, especially to have the success that you have built over the course of a period where not a lot of people are able to play live, and
Sure.
and with all the noise of everyone else posting and live streaming, and to be able to cut through that, that's really something to be proud of. That's awesome.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think that the live streaming was, I mean, personally speaking, so like I love playing gigs. I love playing gigs. I love going out. Doesn't matter how many people there are. I used to get nervous in the past, but now I just feel excited instead. So I get, butterflies and stuff. But I've never been more terrified in my entire life than having to do an Instagram live performance.
Really? What was it about that? Just because you didn't like technical issues or what? Like, it's recorded. Like, what would be scary?
I think the technical issues for sure. Just in the sense that obviously you're doing your thing, and whereas usually there might be like a sound technician or something like that to kind of make sure that people can hear what it is that you're putting forth.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there was that aspect of it, but at the same time, just so weird not to have any reception and to literally be in your front room being like, "Hey, London, how we doing?" And it's just kind of like you can just hear your neighbor's thoughts upstairs, just kind of being like, "What the fuck is wrong with that guy?"
Did you hear our neighbor? He thinks he's like some sort of rock star or something.
They don't know. They don't know what I do. So they're just kind of thinking, it's like, whoa, lockdown's been hard on some people.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, yeah, but I could see that not having the like, oh, that was like you're just seeing like thumbs maybe climbing up.
Call a spade, the validation.
Yeah, well, right. That you kind of have to feed off that, I would imagine.
For sure.
You're like, am I doing terrible? Well, we're gonna keep playing 5 more.
Yeah, exactly. So. And that's also being very hard of sight. I don't even know if that's an expression. I know that people can be hard of hearing. What is the expression for sight actually? Any ideas?
No idea.
I imagine it needs to be alliterative as well. If it's hard of hearing, what would it be, like sorry of sight?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but just looking at again on a small
we'll workshop it later.
Just kind of squinting and just kind of tapping with my blunderous fingers, just trying to kind of make something of it. Just like, hey guys, I'm covering everything up on the screen.
Okay.
But hey, we're playing live gigs now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, at least you are. Orlando hasn't, or he didn't play last time. Just kidding. He'll be.
Yeah, I didn't play last time. Yeah. I was feeling all right to do it, but I didn't want to put everyone else at risk.
Not worth it for sure.
Yeah, we're one of those bands who happen to believe that COVID is real. I know that is controversial for some reason. So we like to try and be responsible with all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure. Do you have a tour? Or like, was it just a one-off show? Or are you guys are you doing a tour coming up, or?
So it was part of a tour that we were doing with this band Bang Bang Romeo, who are
Oh yeah, you already talked about that.
Yeah, our label mates, and they're awesome. And basically, the tour was supposed to happen April 2020.
Oh
and,
wow!
And it was rescheduled. What, Orlando? Like 3 times?
At least twice. At least twice.
Yeah. And yeah, so basically, the dates needed to happen separate from each other.
Okay.
But yeah, it was great. And Orlando was there when we played Shepherd's Bush in London at Bush Hall.
Yeah.
And that was terrific, just playing to, I think it was a sold out show. I think like 400 people or something, maybe.
Yeah. And one of them got me COVID.
Oh yeah. And yeah. And one of those 400 people decided to show up. Yeah,
it was great. Like it was a great show.
It was a great show.
People. And and we also had a good chat with fans. But that's probably why I got COVID. But yeah. But yeah, no, it was great.
Amazing.
Yeah, I wish we could play more live. I think we're gonna do it more in the future.
For sure.
Cool. Yeah. Very, very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for doing this interview. This has been awesome.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah. I have a quick question for you, Orlando, before I move on to my last one. I'm just curious, now that you have the law degree, like, is that something that, like, are you going to be like the band's lawyer or anything like is that?
No, I'm terrible at it.
Like, what did you go for? What did you go to be a lawyer for like, entertainment law?
It's different. It's like, it's a different path. Like in Italy, you can do a lot of things with a law degree. It's not just being a lawyer. But I remember when I realized I wasn't right for that. I was I already done a lot of exams. So I was like, you know what? I'll just
finish it. That makes sense.
I managed, which is quite hard. But yeah. But then I decided to throw it in the bin. But hey, it looks great on my wall in Italy. So yeah,
does it?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
And you always have that to tell people you have. Framed. That's awesome. Well, thank you again both so much. My last question is if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Orlando, do you want to go first and then I'll go next?
Oh, you go first.
Okay. I would say well, first of all, you can do it. So, but now here comes the real bit. Don't expect everything to be done for you. You need to make sure that you work every single day. It's not glamorous. It's not fun, but everything that you're working towards is to make sure that you can have fun at the live gigs. But if you don't put the work in off the stage, no one's ever going to care. You could write the best songs in the world. Doesn't matter. The other thing is be present for every moment that you're experiencing, because you will eventually have that kind of feeling where you need to chase the next thing. And, you achieve something, and rather than appreciating the thing that you've just achieved, you're kind of thinking of the next thing. When you're playing a gig, if it's okay, look up, have a look at the audience, have a little smile to yourself, give yourself a pat on the back, and basically just be present and realistic and keep working.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jim.
Right. I think I can't add anything to that. So yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah.
But if I can just add on the end, so the therapy sessions is going to be released on the 25th of March, and we can't wait for people to get involved. And we would love for people to find us on all of our socials and stuff, especially Instagram, because, it just makes our life easier. Go to one place. Bring it back.